Alright, I'm back on it on my own again today, guys, so sorry if it's shit. Apologies. I'm gonna try to figure it out again. I feel like I didn't do very good last time, so, you know. Alright, cool. So, I'm on my own today. Sue's not feeling very good, so I am gonna start off with introducing the episode, and today's episode is going to be about the what I would describe personally as a horror musical, or gay goth musical. You know, they kind of go hand in hand. Now, there's a few here that fit several different genres and would fit several different types of people. Um, Now, the first one that comes to mind that fits a multitude of genres is, of course, the 1975 film Rocky Horror Picture Show. If you've not seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, then I feel like you're living under a rock. Um, Rocky Horror Picture Show fits a multitude of different people. So it has the musical lovers who would go to the theatre to watch it, or just watch the film. Doesn't matter. I've been to the theatre to watch it, and it's great. It's a great experience. So why not? You know. You also have the queer community because let's be real, Rocky Horror Picture Show is outwardly queer, and I love it for that. And it also has the horror slash sci-fi community. Um, so it fits those three brackets. Hence why I'm saying gay goth musical, because that's what it is. You know, um, there's a few other musicals that fit these genres that people may not have heard of. Repo, the genetic opera. This came out in 2008. And I feel like maybe this is a bit popular, but it is also a cult classic. Where I've met a lot of people now that haven't ever seen Repo, and guys, you gotta go watch Repo. Like, it's a really good film. It has a really eclectic cast as well. I looked up the cast, and I might have to get it back up on the screen next to me to confirm what I'm saying. But like top of my head, you've got Bill Moseley in this film. You've got Anthony Stewart Head, and you've got Paris Hilton. Like Paris Hilton, that's just absolutely wild. It's just crazy that Paris Hilton is in this. Um, and I've seen Bill Moseley now at a couple of conventions, and he himself reminisced about Repo and said, you know, without Paris's help, this film wouldn't have been made. And I think that that's amazing. And this is why a few episodes ago you may have heard me talk about Paris Hilton as being an icon of horror, because she is. Like, she's one of us. Like, she is a goth girl, but with blonde hair, you know? Because not only is she in Repo, but she's also in House of Wax. And she's fantastic in Repo. She essentially plays herself. Like, she is playing Paris Hilton, but she's also Amber Sweet. It's the same character. Like, she's obsessed with surgery. You know, she's just out there and crazy, and she's kind of an influencer, I guess. And also she comes from money. Um, so just like real life. Um, so if you've not seen Repo, you have to go and watch Repo. Um, there's another film that for me, I'm classing this as a musical because it is a musical, but not in the traditional sense. And that is 2002's Queen of the Damned. Queen of the Damned is essentially an advert for nu metal. Like, at the time, we had Jonathan Davis, who was singing all the songs. I mean, king of nu metal, right? You had Marilyn Manson, who was just a background character. You kind of blink and you miss him, but he was there. Um, You had music by Static X, Deftones, Disturbed, Chester Bennington. Like, these are huge names within the new metal community. So to say it isn't a new metal advert would be ridiculous, because it is. That's all. That is what it is. But also for me, Queen of the Damned is my all-time favorite vampire film. So it has that as well. It still has a bit of the horror, maybe not so gory, I guess, in parts. But it does still have that horror element. So I'm classing it as a musical. Um, Another one, going back again to 1986 with Little Shop of Horrors. Little Shop of Horrors is a great film. It's not one I watch regularly, at least not as regularly as the others. Um, but I've watched it enough times to know what happens. I've actually got my own little Audrey from the film. So if you've seen the film, you will recognise Audrey. This is my Audrey. She stays on my mantelpiece. It's a cannibalistic plant. He feeds the plant his friends and stuff. It's, yeah. Try to explain that to somebody who's never seen it. Like, try to explain that Little Shop of Horrors is about a guy who keeps a plant in the basement of the shop that he works at, that he feeds people to. I don't know. I don't know what was going through the mind. I have no idea. Another fantastic gay goth musical, and yes, this does fit all three genres because it has been in theatre. It's kind of queer in a way, in some ways, and it's a musical. Well, and it's also horror, so there we go. It fits all three. I just did it in the wrong. Whatever, that's my brain. Sweeney Todd, Demon Barber of Fleet Street, 2007. This came out. We have Johnny Depp. So come on, we've got Johnny Depp. We've got Alan Rickman. We've obviously got Helena Bonham Carter because Tim Burton is obsessed with Johnny Depp killing his now ex-wife. Sweeney Todd has that story behind it of this serving human meat pies, which is really cool, and it kind of makes it you think, like, did this actually happen in 1800s England? Because it could well be a possibility that it did, with everything else that was happening in Victoria and England at the time. Sweeney Todd within itself was a famous name, regardless. So did they serve meat pies? I guess we'll never know. And another one that I've recently watched, and I really love this film, came out in 2017. Anna and the Apocalypse, or Anna versus the Apocalypse. It's one or the other. It's really good. That is very true. Yeah, Anna and the Apocalypse. So this is about a girl who goes to school and there's zombies. I mean, spoiler alert, but that's what happens. It's an English film, so that's pretty cool. All the whole cast is English. There was one or two faces that I recognised, but more so from English, like, comedy or English TV shows. But otherwise, it was a pretty new cast of people. And this is really cool because it gave you the zombies, and it gave you, like, the final girl at the end with Anna surviving, and it gave you the musical. So it's fantastic. It's a really good film. So again, I feel like that one hasn't quite been picked up by the community, but I think that people are missing out on that. Sue wanted to include The Crow, but I'm not including The Crow as a musical because personally I don't think that it's a musical. Yes, he was in a rock band. Yes, there's music in it, but I wouldn't say it so much as a musical, personally. That doesn't negate the fact that it's still a good film. You know, it is still a good film, but I think it'll come later on a later episode. perhaps. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to Rocky Horror Picture Show. Now again, this came in 1975, and I do have my list of the top 3 songs from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Now, I will first off say that Rocky Horror Picture Show is now deep down in my heart as being one of my all-time favourite musicals. I've seen the entire cast of Rocky Horror Picture Show now, and I got to meet Tim Curry. I had the pleasure of meeting Tim Curry in 2022, and God, I still well up about it when I think about meeting him. It was such an experience, and I absolutely loved to meet someone who is as amazing as Tim Curry is, not just from Rocky Horror Picture Show, but also from so many other films that he did, like Scary Movie 2. Come on, who hasn't seen his character in Scary Movie 2? It's insane. Home Alone, Pennywise, obviously, he played Pennywise in It, the original. God, yeah, if there's ever a legendary man with a legendary status, it is Tim Curry, especially within the horror community. And meeting him was just, it was a dream come true, it really was. Yeah, so whenever I think of Rocky Horror Picture Show, and whenever I rewatch Rocky Horror Picture Show, I always come to this number 1 song, and I think it's going to be obvious which is my number 1 song from Rocky Horror Picture Show, and it goes without saying, because it introduces the man himself. So of course, the number 1 song for me is going to be Sweet Transvestite. Because what the hell else is it gonna be? Realistically, for the first song, it's absolutely fantastic. He comes down in the elevator wearing that long coat. He walks kind of behind everybody else and gets to the stage at the back. Starts strutting his stuff. Man, that guy's sexy as fuck. Let me just say that. Like, he is hot. He is a hot man in that film. My God. And then when he like opens his jacket and he's wearing a corset, oh good lord. If your by heart is not watching that and thinking, my God, yeah, I think I am most definitely pansexual at the very least. I don't know what you were watching. You certainly weren't watching the same film as I was, I'll tell you that, because that part of the film gets me every time. It's absolutely iconic. It really is. Number 2, Hot Patootie. Now, this film is not only Tim Curry, but it's Meatloaf. Hello, Meatloaf comes out of a freezer, and he's like getting chased by Tim Curry round and round and round in circles. It's brilliant. It's such a good part of the film. And last but not least, for the top 3 is I'm Coming Home, which is the song right at the end, again sung by Tim Curry, and I absolutely love it. I only got a top 3, by the way, for only three of the films, so you needn't worry. I'm not going to go on and be like, oh, the top 3 of this. It's only 3 films, so you don't have to pay that much attention. The next film I've got the top 3 songs is Repo, because again it is one of my favourites and I do watch it quite regularly. This was actually really hard to decide what top 3 I'm going to go with, because there's some really good songs in Repo. So I'm going to go with my number 1 being Night Surgeon, which is sung by Anthony Stewart Head. It's brilliant. It's the introduction to his Repo Man character, and it's fun, and it's really, really good. Thankless Job, which is sung by Ogre and Bill Moseley. They're kind of in the like warehouse, I guess. There's a whole load of nurses with them, like giving them body parts and stuff like that, and they're like mark it up, like ready to sell on to the general public. That's really good. It's kind of like an argument between the 2 brothers as well, so you've got that element. Lastly, I've got Thankless Job, because this song, when I was doing cleaning as a job, just kept going round and round in circles. Um, no one likes a thankless job. No one does like a thankless job, and I don't know why. When I was cleaning, it was just the song that would just be in a loop forever the whole time, like on the shift. Again, this is Anthony Stewart Head. But I did also want to mention Zydrate Anatomy, because this is Paris Hilton and the Grave Robber, and I really love the Grave Robber character and Paris Hilton's character together. And the only reason it didn't meet the top three for me is because I absolutely hate the Shiloh character in this, and she pisses me off. So I just didn't include it, but I did want to mention that it is really good if Shiloh wasn't a part of it. I just don't like Shiloh. Like, I get that she kind of has to be in the film, but at the same time, I just wish she wasn't. Simple as. Queen of the Damned. Fucking love this film. The whole soundtrack is fantastic. So, like, nailing this down to just 3 songs was pretty difficult, but I managed to do it. Um, So Queen of the Damned, I've got number 1 song is Forsaken. Now this is a Disturbed song, however when you first hear it, it is sang by Jonathan Davis, and it's the introduction to Lestat. Not to say that the Disturbed version is bad, because it's not, it's still a good song, but I am including the first time that you hear it, because it is that first introduction. So yeah. Then I've got Change in the House of Flies by Deftones, and I originally wasn't going to include this because I only wanted it to be movie songs only, but I thought, how can you not include Change in the House of Flies when the scene where that song is playing is Lestat and the Queen in a bath doing naughty things, and that scene lives rent free in my brain. Like, it is such a good scene. I absolutely love it, and I love that that song is kind of like sexual. I absolutely love it. It's on one of my playlists on my phone. It is a constant song that I will listen to any time of year, any time of day. It's really good. The last is System, which is I want to say it is sang by Chester Bennington. I believe it is sang by Chester Bennington and also Jonathan Davis. Another great song. Also, I do really want to mention that Down with the Sickness by Disturbed is in this film, and the scene where it's kind of like the festival that Lestat is playing where the vampires are coming after him, and I love that it plays Down with the Sickness, but because you only hear it for a brief period of time, and it's already a very famous song, already in another film, Dawn of the Dead, the remake, I didn't want to include it in my top ones. It is a very well known song. It is a very good song, so I'm not going to include it in my top. Um, I don't know how I managed to completely forget that Sweeney Todd exists when I've watched it 1,001 times. And I was looking up like, oh, maybe there's other like gay goth musicals or horror musicals, and then I was like, oh yeah, duh, Sweeney Todd. Like, how did I forget that? I no idea. I'm just an idiot. Um, there's also a lot of other musical films that could well be described as horror musicals, but not in the sense of like they're not scary or anything like that, but they do have that community following. And the one that comes to my mind straight away is Nightmare Before Christmas. Because let's be real, the horror community love Nightmare Before Christmas. For me, it was one of the first films that I watched that was kind of horror, but for kids, I guess. Um, Jack Skellington is everywhere. Like, if you've not got a Jack Skellington shirt in your wardrobe, were you ever really an emo kid? Like, what are you playing at? Like, Jack Skellington is that character, and I know all the songs from Nightmare Before Christmas. It's my second favourite film of all time is Nightmare Before Christmas. Um, so to not include that would just be insane because it definitely falls under this bracket. In which case, so does The Corpse Bride, because it still has the dark undertones and the horror elements of similar to Night Before Christmas. Um, and I love the way that it's presented. I love the characters, and the character building is really good. And again, you've got Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. So I mean, what more do you want? If there's an iconic duo, it's gonna be them two, especially when it comes to Tim Burton films. It has to be those two. Um, yeah, those films are incredible. I do wish that there were significantly more of these films, but at the same time, I'm glad that there isn't, because it gives us that like thing to hope for. Like, I hope that there'll be another gay goth musical. I would love to see more. Um, so when one comes every, well, exactly. Tim Burton does love the creepy element. He really does. If you've seen any of his films, they're creepy. Creepy as shit. Um, yeah, I love that element of I'm waiting and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for another musical to come out. Um, because when they do come out, they don't have a massive following. Um, but the following that they do get is definitely the gay goths. What can I say? Um, yeah. Is there any more that I've maybe not thought of? Because I would like to know if there is. I did look up again. I did look on IMDb for like horror musicals, and there was some on there where I was like, yeah, it's not. It doesn't quite fit the bracket. Um, or the films that I've not seen, so I just didn't want to involve it. I might still have the list up. I may not. No, I don't. I had a list of songs from Queen of the Damned though. I had like basically the whole soundtrack. Um, on my phone. I was listening to them earlier, and I was like, I really can't narrow this down because it's really difficult for Queen of the Damned because it is really good, like new metal advert. Um, yeah, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Right, if you've not seen it at theatres, I kind of want the theatre version to be released as a standalone film. Because there's parts when you go and see it at the theatre where the audience joins in, and I loved that. I loved that so much. Um, like there's the throwing of like rice, and there's all sorts of stuff. You have to go and see it at the theatre to like fully understand what happens. But I really want them to do a standalone so that you know the bits that you're supposed to join in at, because there were parts like there's parts that you know that you have to join in at. So when the Frankenfurter character says Antissy, you know that you're gonna say it before he says patient. That was one that was obvious for me when I saw it at the cinema. But there was so many more that I completely missed out on because I had never seen it at theatre before. So to see it as a standalone film would be really good, and I would really enjoy that. Because I'd love to know oh, this is the part where you're joining in, and this is what you say when you join in. So hopefully eventually they do the Broadway version as a standalone film, because I think that'd be great. Also, super iconic. After I went to go and see Rocky Horror Picture Show at the theatre, the person who played Frankenfurter was interviewed. Well, they were all interviewed. And he was like, oh, well, where's the best city that you've played at? And like, they all said different cities, but he said Manchester. And I was like, damn right, it's Manchester. Manchester's fucking cool. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I'd seen it at theatre, so, you know. I will go and see it again, absolutely. And I think you have to dress up for Rocky Horror Picture Show. You have to wear something slutty. Man, woman, or anything in between, you have to dress slutty. That's just the rules of seeing Rocky Horror Picture Show live at the theatre. I had this like tiny little Ann Summers red dress that was like way above the knees, like it. Yeah, yes, it was uncomfortable. I would probably never wear that dress ever again, but you have to dress slutty to go and see it. Come on. I actually feel like Rocky Horror Picture Show is a film as well that I've gone to see a few times at the cinema when they've rerun it. I'm unsure if I went to go see it with Katrina. I feel like I did at some point go and see it at the cinema. I went to go see it again with a group of people during COVID, funnily enough, on Halloween. We did go and see it, didn't we? I thought so. I even remembered that I took in a flask of vodka, and then I got a Tango Ice Blast, and I just put the vodka in the Tango Ice Blast and got absolutely shit-faced wasted. That's what you've got to do, you know? Yeah, and the other time I went to go and see it, at the cinema was during COVID, like I said, 2020, on Halloween. Yeah, so I'd love to go and see Sweeney Todd at the theatre, and I'd probably love to go and see Little Shop of Horrors at the theatre. I don't think any of the other films that I mentioned would be at the theatre, realistically. I do feel like at some point Repo was at the theatre, because it had a whole different cast of people before it became a film. But I doubt it's going to be one of those things that's going to be like travelling, especially not in England, if I was going to see that somewhere. Queen of the Damned, as much as I can hope and pray that Jonathan Davis would one day turn around and say, hey, do you know what, I'm just going to do the whole soundtrack of Queen of the Damned and that's it. Because I'd pay a lot of money for that, and I've said this multiple times, that I'd pay a fuck ton of money to just see Jonathan Davis sing Queen of the Damned soundtrack. I doubt that, yeah, we did do the time warp. Fucking idiots. I doubt that Jonathan Davis is just going to turn around and do the Queen of the Damned soundtrack anytime soon, although a girl can damn well dream. I am going to see Korn on Halloween in Manchester this year, so he's still got the chance. He could turn around and be like, hey, actually, I'm not going to be doing Korn songs, I'm just going to be doing Queen of the Damned, so, you know, keep my fingers crossed, but we can only hope and see. Yeah, damn, when I do this on my own, like, this feels like it goes like really fast because there's nobody else to talk to, but also because I'm like really organised and I have an idea in my head of what I want to talk about. I just talk about everything and then I run out of things to talk about, so it's really difficult to do this on my own, but I wasn't going to miss this. I really wanted to do this musical episode, so here I am. What of the films have you seen? You've probably seen the same as me, realistically. But maybe there's one or two that I'm not thinking of. Let's have a look at what IMDb says horror musicals. Because I'm pretty sure I saw Killer Clowns or something on there, which, does Killer Clowns count? I wouldn't say so. Yeah, here, like the top one. Beetlejuice, it says. Oh, Heathers. Yeah, I forgot Heathers did a musical version. Apparently Lost Boys. I mean, Lost Boys at theatre does make sense, I suppose. Lost Boys, right? I'm not going to say that this is a musical because it ain't, but Lost Boys does have a very good guy in it, and we all need to go and see him. If you haven't met him, you need to go and see him, and that is our great uncle Tim Capello, who I have met every year since 2019. Bar obviously COVID and one time he was sick. He is a legend. People only know him from the Lost Boys as being the guy doing the saxophone, and man, what a guy. Like, so humble, so lovely. He now knows who me and my group are. We go and see him every year. Without fail, he will say, "Oh, hi Sam, how are you? How's the family?" Without fail, and he's done this multiple times. He is our mascot of For the Love of Horror event. He is amazing. So yes, Lost Boys isn't a musical, but yes, I still believe is in that film. You hear it for less than a minute. The man's on screen for about 6 seconds. Amazing. Best part of the film for me. So I'm going to include that because he is really, really good. God, I love that man. It's going to break my heart when one day he's going to pass away and he's going to fucking rip me to shreds. Any one of us who've met Tim Capello, not once but multiple times, will know that's going to fucking kill us. I've said this. There's a couple on this list that I've not seen that say that they're musicals, so maybe somebody who's watched them would be able to correct me if I'm wrong. Good lord. Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. I may well watch that after this, because that sounds shit. But it got 6 stars somehow, and if a film gets 6 stars and it's called something like Night of the Chicken Dead, and it is promising me to be a musical, I need to go and watch it, because I feel like that's going to be shit. So that's what I'm going to try and find a stream of it afterwards, and then I'm going to put it on after I've done. It does say Phantom of the Opera, but I wouldn't agree. It does sound so bad it's good. It does, doesn't it? We have to watch it. So I'm going to try and find a stream and then we'll watch it afterwards. Phantom of the Opera. I don't agree that this counts as musical, other than the fact that Phantom is in the name. I have never liked Phantom of the Opera. Sorry, it's just not my thing. I think it's too much of a musical for me. And I only just put up with Les Miserables, and that's only because they have some great songs about the revolution. So I'm not going to count Phantom of the Opera in this episode. Oh shit, here's another one we could watch. It's got 3.1 stars, so you know this one's great. Strippers versus Werewolves. Do you know what? I've seen Strippers versus Zombies, and that wasn't half bad. Cockneys versus Zombies wasn't half bad. That was actually a really good film, to be honest. And there's another vampire one called Suck. That's going on the list, because vampire, you know. Oh shit, yeah, I forgot to mention. So Repo technically has 3 films. Repo is probably the biggest out of the 3. It also has The Devil's Carnival and Alleluia, The Devil's Carnival. Different films, but I feel like those two are set at the same time. It has the same characters. You have so the grave robber from Repo plays, I forgot what his character is now. I've only seen one of these films, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm not 100% sure. Lucifer, that's who he plays. Duh, obviously. He plays Lucifer in that. And again, there's some kind of well-known names, I guess, but not so much that the average person would know who they are. Bill Moseley shows up in all three of these films. Dayton Callie, which people might know from, I think, Sons of Anarchy. Paul Savino was the last one. Paul Savino, who is in... I recognised him from Romeo and Juliet, and I feel like that's a disappointment within, like, he's probably in so many great films, and I just remember him from being Juliet's dad in Romeo and Juliet. But I found out that Paul Savino is actually a trained opera singer, hence why in these three musicals I just mentioned, because he's in all three of them. He plays God in The Devil's Carnival and Hallelujah, and he plays the dad in Repo. After watching that, I was like, he's amazing. And this is a fact that probably not many people would have known, that he's a trained opera singer. Oh, obviously he's in Goodfellas. I knew he was in a mafia film somewhere. I knew he was somewhere. Like, he's just one of those guys. He was really cool. Um, and had that, like, old Italian thing going for him, which was awesome. Yeah, so maybe not so much of a big actor, but why was he not utilized as being this Italian opera singer in these Italian mob boss films that he would have been in? Because surely Italy and opera just kind of go hand in hand, right? And this guy's fully trained as an opera singer. Crazy. Um, yeah, so that's those. Yeah, there's really not that many other films that come under this bracket, because I do feel like it's very, 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 very niche bracket to fit under, to be a horror musical, because who would think of a horror musical? Like, it just doesn't make sense really in some situations. Um, but do you know what? It works. When they get it and they get it good, it really does work. And I think that it brings a whole, like I said before, a whole cast of community. There's a whole build of this of various different communities that watch and enjoy these films, because hey, they can go and see it at the theatre, right? So theatre lovers love Rocky Horror Picture Show without even being an iconic cult film, you know? So that's those for me. Oh, Jesus, okay, I feel like I've said a lot here, so um, I don't really know what much else to say, but I do struggle at doing this alone, so um, yeah. Okay, right. Maybe a short one this time, because I'm on my own and it's really hard to, like, know what to say when there's nobody else to bounce off of. Um, but hey, I did it on my own, so I weren't gonna miss it. If you've not seen any of these films, definitely go and see them. Um, or go and watch them on TV, because there'll be a stream. These films are old now. If they're not already on one of the official streaming sites, then they're definitely gonna be somewhere. I can't name anywhere, but you know what I'm saying. If you've not seen them, go and see them. Go, like, watch them at the comfort of your own home, because why not, right? The one that I recommend the most out of all of them is Repo. Yes, there's parts of it that I hate, most of which include the character of Shiloh, but beggars can't be choosers, you know? The rest of the film is absolutely fantastic. I just wish Shiloh wasn't in it, personally. But it's got everything. It's got blood, gore, singing. Come on. There's nothing else that you need out of a film. So I'm gonna try and find a stream somewhere, hopefully, of Poultrygeist Night of the Chicken Dead, because that sounds absolutely fantastic. So anybody who is not who is watching this on YouTube, I will just get the I'm getting old. Let me find the thing for the Discord so that you can join Discord, because I do try to host regular movie nights, even if it's just a random one like tonight. I do want to host more. I am hoping to host one this week, possibly on Friday, because hopefully the mortuary assistant is going to go on, what's it called? Shudder. And I'm paying for Shudder, so hopefully I will check on Friday that it is on there so that we can watch it on Friday night. And that'll be an exclusive because it is just released, I believe on the Thursday of this week coming, so hopefully Friday night we'll be watching that. So join us for that. And again, the Discord is in the bio on the YouTube. It's everywhere on our other pages, whatever. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry again that this is a bit of a shorter episode, but I'm doing it alone and I'm a shy girl, so I don't really know what much else to say. I get straight to the point. That's just the autism, you know. Yeah, like, subscribe if you're comfortable in doing so, share and join the community. Anybody who wants to join me afterwards whilst I'm trying to find Night of the Chicken Dead is welcome to do so. I will be in the general chat on Discord, and if you're watching this on YouTube, then hit me up and I'll tell you all about it. But yeah, thanks again for joining. Hope to see you again next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And next week will be, let me just get this up before I sign off. Bear with me. Ooh. Might be a difficult one. Might need to move around some things here, because it could potentially be Final Destination, the franchise, which gives me a whole excuse to watch the Final Destination films this week, because Lord knows I love them. Or ghost films. I was going to do vampires, but I'm moving that down a couple of weeks because it leads up to when we go to Whitby and when we do the horror convention in April, so I'm moving it down a couple of weeks until then. So it's going to be one or the other. I'll decide. I'll let people know on the socials which one it's going to be. But yeah, either Final Destination or ghost films. That's the plan. Alright, so again, I will see you all next week. Thank you for tuning in. Always good to see you, and hopefully we can all go and watch Night of the Chicken Dead together after this. So until next time, thank you.